Your world.
Man. What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Happy, what is today? Monday?
Mental
Shit.
health day.
Mental Health Mondays. I haven't done an Instagram Live in a long time.
That's
Hopefully,
what
you like me on here.
we gonna get it together. So, how was your day?
Day was fabulous. I'm still tired from the weekend, so I actually just woke up, guys, from a nap before the workout I got to do today. The first one kicked my ass. So, what's going on, everybody? What's up, Jada? What's up, Taylor?
People are
Chocolate
funny.
Daddy. You can see up my nose. What's how I look up there? It's good. I'm good.
That is hilarious.
uh,
Well, for joining us on this Mental Health Monday, I think it's like important that we do some type of check-in and we're all like kind of on the same page. I know we all kind of deal with our own issues, struggles, whatever it may be, and I think it's just good to have a conversation just so you know that like we're not alone. You're not alone. We're not alone in this whole game of life.
I'll
Peace.
be with you. All right, sorry guys. I just woke up. I got a bunch of energy. Chichi, what's going on? How you doing today?
I'm good. I work today.
You work?
So I work today.
You're out saving lives, huh?
You know what I do? You know,
Yeah, I
other
love
day.
it. So
I'm
what are we talking about today? We're talking about we're checking in mental health, checking in with everybody. Are we gonna accept people on the live? I don't know. It was already hard enough to accept me, so I don't even expect that.
I that if requested, then they may be able to. But for the most part, I don't know how to do that. You said people come into your lives sometimes. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Okay. All right. It's your show, so you just let me know what we're doing, what we're talking about.
All right, play it by ear. We play it by ear. So just a little background. Festus, I should say Ifani, is a very dear friend of mine. He actually, we became close. I feel like during our each personal like struggles, I think we connected on that part and kind of helped each other out. Um, Especially times when I was like, yo, give me some advice. Help me through this. I am not good right now. We actually tried to do this weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, but we both were, we each have our moments where we're like, yeah, not this week. It's it's just not gonna work this week because I'm just going through a lot or I have a lot going on. And sometimes you feel like, well, for me, I feel like I can't talk about something that I don't even have together myself. So I almost felt like I would be a hypocrite in a sense if I were to talk about mental health, but I couldn't figure it out myself. So
I
I
think
feel
this. So I think like in some ways this is our problem. Like we feel like we have to be able to. I mean, I guess you're a doctor, so people expecting and come to you for answers. But what I am trying to do, and you guys see, I'm wearing a shirt that says "Rebuilding the Beast." I'm trying to create a community. It's a page on Instagram. It's a podcast. What I really want to do is I want to create a community of people who are figuring it out. Like, so we don't just have to figure it out on our own. It's just this idea that you can have other people who are further along on their journey in some aspect tell you the story of what they overcame, and that can be your survival guide. So this idea of like, dude, we're all figuring it out, dude. And that's the thing about even growing up, because then you realize that your parents, who you thought had it all figured out, are also figuring it out. They didn't know what to do with your crazy stuff when you when you were born. They just were like, man, I got this rambunctious kid. Like, this is all of us. I got this kid who has these interests. Let me figure out how to fit into this person's life so that And so this mental health topic is something that is it's kind of what would I call it? It's like forbidden to talk about it, but we're all dealing with some kind of facet of this thing in our journey. And so I just want us to be able to talk about it more.
right. And I also feel like because we are Black people, especially Black women, we are expected to be strong. There's a slogan, strong Black woman. Like we're expected to be this something that we can't even accomplish all the time, which is superhuman. And we have this pressure, unsaid pressure, to be perfect or to be strong. And so when we feel weak, we feel like we failed, or we feel like we're depressed or crying. We feel like we have failed somebody. So we're always put on this pedestal to be a certain way. I don't know if we do it on ourselves or what it is, but we have this pressure to satisfy this perfection, and it's impossible. So we go into this unfortunate cycle of trying to be perfect, and we been roll into depression, anxiety, and fortunate, but
it's really hard for people to, I mean, one of the things that I know, I don't know if this is something that you want to share with people, but one of the things I know is that, like, the passing of Chesley Christ,
mm-hmm.
the lady who was she was a Miss America, Miss USA,
Mm-hmm.
Miss USA, and she jumped out of a building at a time when it seemed like her life was perfect and things were going great, but she was struggling with something that we all didn't understand. I didn't even understand how many people in my circle knew her. Mm-hmm. That weekend, a lot of people were leaving town. They were like, yo, I need to take a break. I need to get, I'm like, yo, what's going on? But a lot of people knew her. And to them, I feel like it resonated with a lot of people because if they felt like I'm going through the same stuff, I don't want to like overheat. Let me also do a mental health check-in. But we don't always got to wait till something bad happens, something drastic happens to be able to check in with ourselves. So, so right now we're checking in with you guys. How everybody's doing? How's everybody doing today? What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Let me see. Let me check these comments real quick. Jada, I don't even know how to move this. It's different now. What is going on?
I recently updated my Instagram, so I don't.
Zaba, what's up, my brother?
You gotta have a village that relieves pressure.
All right, hold on. I guess I gotta hold on to this thing. So let me see.
I agree. Having somebody or having a team with you, definitely someone to talk to, someone to bounce off ideas. Kind of going piggyback to that Chelsea unfortunate situation. I think a lot of Black women resonated with her because I can speak for myself. What you see on social media, you see young, pretty, looks like she has it all together. Her social media is popping. She looks so happy. But you don't know like what people are dealing with. You feel or you think people have it together, but then you see that and you're like, that could be me. And it kind of shook me. It was like, I don't want it to get to that point. And how do I prevent it myself from getting to that point? And I think me talking about it helps me stay accountable. Me posting about mental health helps me stay accountable. You really just don't know. Like, you really don't. And that's the unfortunate part about it. And I feel like a lot of us are scared to say things about it because we don't want to be outcast or we don't want to feel different. But honestly, we're not different. You're not different. You're pretty much like everyone else dealing with some ish. And
I wonder, does it give you more, is it more pressure when you are starting to become somebody who is known for it? Do you have more pressure to feel like, oh, I have to have the answers? Is that what it is too? Because people are coming to you now because you're posting more about it. The same thing happens with this podcast, and I'm telling people stories of overcoming tragedy and challenges. And so people start coming to me for answers. And then there's this weird thing that happens, is this pressure of like, oh, now you have to have the answers. Do you feel that a little bit?
a little bit. Like, I feel like I don't necessarily have to have the answers, but I feel like I have to have it together. Because if I don't, I'm letting someone else down. So it kind of accountability, but I also don't want to put too much pressure on myself to have it together because sometimes I just don't. So yeah, it kind of, it can go both ways. It could be a negative and a positive, but I think the positive outweighs it. And so that's why I want to speak about it, because I know at least one person is going to get something good out of it.
All right. Like I said, I'm in your show, so let me get out of my interviewing mode.
We're both kind of in the same realm, but so we're background on both of us, Nigerian households. You grew up in Nigeria, like you was in there. I know our culture kind of taught us to, I don't know, it was hide feelings, be strong, deal with it, because I think we watched our parents do that. So how do you think growing up in that culture or that background impacted how you deal with stress, mental issues today?
I was actually thinking about this today, about how in Nigeria, there's so much chaos, right? Like you go to the marketplace and there's thousands and thousands of people just like rushing, and everybody wants to do something at the same time. And there's not really a lot of structure a lot of times, right? And so you get used to functioning in chaos. There's this idea that you don't really have time to complain because there's a bunch of other people around you who are dealing with worse, right? So I think the idea of showing emotions coming from Nigeria is not something you don't complain. You just get up and do it because people are starving next to you. There's people who are like you got to take whatever opportunities you get and you run with it. And
Right.
to serve me for a lot of my life because I came to the United States at 14 years old. I left my family at a young age. I never had time to complain, right? Because I was lonely, I was scared, I was all these things. I was unsure about the future. I don't know what I'm about to do. I came over here to live with an uncle that I had barely met. I met him one time in my life. And so these are all the things I'm dealing with. But I'm not really telling anybody I'm dealing with this. I'm a 14-year-old kid. Of course you're supposed to deal with that. So you swallow that. And then I start trying to play basketball for the first time. I'm 15 years old. I get cut from the basketball team. Oh, it's all good. Swallow that. And so, like, you just keep building these accumulated traumas, and eventually it comes out in these weird ways. And thankfully, at a young age, too, like in college, I was able to be introduced to therapy, especially when I was on the court. I had this really bad anxiety when I was in college, and trying to play it was hard for me because I went from playing, first of all, I got cut from the high school team. And then I started playing AAU basketball. I met this guy, random guy. And so I started playing AAU basketball. And my AAU basketball was in front of like 20 people. And I played that for a couple of years. I become top 150 kids in the country. And this is not really about my story, but I'll explain why that part is important too. And then I go from that to a gym with all these people watching me from all around the country. Then I get a scholarship to go to college. And then when I'm in college, I have 10,000 people watching me now. So I go from 20 people in my little city, Yuba City that I lived in, to 10,000 people watching me in college. And I'm frozen. Like, I don't even know how to deal with this. Obviously, I can't ask for help either. So I swallow that. But in that case, in being an athlete, like, you have to perform. So people are watching me like, yo, why are you're like this in practice, but you're like this in the game? What is the disconnect? Why you look like this? And so it wasn't until then people start asking me questions like, tell me about how you feel. They got me a sports therapist, and we were having this conversation, and he was like, no, it's okay. Like, and they started to explain how to healthily go through these emotions in my head. And that was my introduction to therapy. And then fast forward in my life, I became an NBA player. And in the NBA, before an NBA finals game, my coaches introducing me to meditation. So these are all mental health practices that keep coming back to me, even in sports. You know, so yes, as a Nigerian, I had learned some bad habits, and I learned some things which served me in a certain way, but in another way, they were still hurting me inside. So I think that we got to find healthy habits. Look at this cute guy you have on your live. Who is that? You gonna introduce us?
All right, introducing to the world, Cairo.
What's up, Cairo?
This is Cairo.
Oh,
Mental health. This is definitely my emotional support love dog right here.
wow.
Definitely just the comfort and love. He's been good. He's been really good.
How old is he?
He's like 10 weeks now, so he's gonna get a little bit bigger.
Oh, here, mama. What's going on? Who you talking to?
Oh, he's stealing the show. Anyways.
Hey, y'all, if y'all have any questions, too, I don't know how to use any of this stuff. So my computer's frozen. My phone is frozen. So if y'all have any questions,
I'll find
shoot at her.
Yes. So I think going back to your story, actually getting introduced to therapy that early, that says a lot. When I played basketball in college, I didn't even have a term for what I was dealing with. No one knew nothing. It was like, deal with it, suck it up, cry later, play on the court, make sure you show up for the game, get A's and B's and whatever in your classes. There was no sports therapist or anything to help you deal with stuff. You just dealt with it. So, I mean, I think that's kudos to your program for having that. I guess us, D1 USF college players, we wasn't.
I don't know if it was cool. It's either was that good. It was my program was that good, or my situation was that bad, and they were like trying to find a way out of it. But my coach was the one, he actually paid for out of his pocket to give me a therapist. So that's, I mean, that's saying a lot to him as a person, because he did tell me to trust him when I signed my letter of intent to go there. He was like, yo, trust me, I will make you the person that you're supposed to be. And he was hard, he was all the things, like he was a tough dude to please. And all that was also hard mentally. So he also needed to hire somebody to help me through dealing with him. But man, I'm so grateful for it. You know, having that space to give, it showed me the importance of talking about your problems. And when you talk about it, there's a healing that comes. Like you talked about it earlier. You like when you start talking about the things that you're dealing with, people look at you and they say, wow, like this person's amazing. This person's incredible. And that doesn't take away from the fact that you're amazing. You're human though.
Right.
As an athlete, people look at us like we're superhuman. Nah, like we go to bed the same way. We got the same friends. We still got to deal with all the same stuff, huh?
That comes with that though, like being an athlete, because you have to perform in different arenas. So you have to perform in practice. You have to perform in the classroom. You have to perform, you know, for the audience. You can't break. And if you do break, that's another pressure that's set on you again. Like there's a lot of pressure, especially in those big D1 schools that, you know, you played and things like that, and pressure to go to the NBA and to the league, and pressure of not getting hurt, pressure of not starting, pressure of a freshman coming in and taking your spot. There's so many like outside
right now,
like going on.
Yo, you taking me through some past traumas right now, though. I'm like, damn, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. I will say, there's a lot of stuff. So I remember the first time, the first year, after the first year of college, the season was over, and I got to live like a regular student, right? So student athlete, regular student. So there was no practice, there's no anything. So I had to live. I was like, wow, there's a lot of hours in the day.
Yep.
So I just go to class and then I go home. This is what people do, as opposed to waking up early in the morning for practice, then going to class, then grabbing lunch, then going to practice, then going to study hall, and then coming back to shoot at night or whatever it is that you're doing. Like socializing is even hard in between that. Like you have to sacrifice something. You sacrifice sleep for socializing, or if you want to be diligent the way through, then you don't have a social. Like it's a really hard balance for student athletes. And I think for me, I was an autopilot when I was in it. I just got to figure out how to get through this whole thing. But if you really think about it, there's a lot of pressure on student athletes that they don't like, you know, and we just got to figure it out. But that's also on the back end why people really love to hire student athletes. Mm-hmm. Because we're used to dealing with the pressure. We're used to doing things that, you know, you're playing a game, you're competitive, you're working with a team, you're doing all these things that you can fit in different types of stuff. There's a give and take for what we do, but you know, somebody gave me a stat yesterday. I don't know if it's true, but this probably is not helping our case at all. But they said 8% of Black top 100 basketball players graduate college. Only 8% of the top 100 players that go to college graduate. And I was just thinking about, like, I wonder what that pressure does to people, right? And maybe they go to the NBA. Maybe that's what it is as well. But I wonder what that pressure of being a student athlete does to people when they go out there.
I mean,